Stanley, my friend, how are you?
Oh man, this is amazing. I'm good. I'm in South Central city in Hyderabad in India.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
Well, it's almost 9 o'clock here in the morning. What time is it there?
It's 8:20 in the night.
Wow.
11 and a half hours difference.
Wow. So we go back, let's see what year I worked with you at maintenance at Christ for the Nations. What year was that? Do you remember?
I think it was 2001
Wow.
summer.
To be honest with you, I only had that job probably because my uncle was in charge of the maintenance department. I just cleaned the pool. You did most of the work.
You were a great help.
So, so what's going on? What kind of stuff have you been up to? Tell me about the ministry. What's going on?
Lots going on in the last 20 years, 2001, and this is 2020. After I came back from Christ for the Nations, I was ordained as the pastor of this Bride of Christ church in Hyderabad city. And I was also monitoring the village ministries. So this ministry, which I am part of, is a vision of my grandmother, my mother's mother. She had the vision and God spoke to her to prepare the bride for the second coming. So that's where it all started.
Wow. So I know you go to remote villages, is that right?
Yes, 30 miles from here. 30 miles from here and 85 kilometers would be around 60 miles from here. I go to villages, urban cultured village, two of them, and one is really remote village. It's still traditional village. So after that, when I came back, I was part of the ministry in this Hyderabad church, which I'm sitting right now, the village. Then the villages and in the church in Durgam Cheru village, we did the pioneering work after I came back. And in a couple of villages, in Gypsy tribe villages, that is around 200 kilometers, would be around 130, 140 miles from Hyderabad city. So I've been going to the villages.
Wow. So I know you're working right now on starting a school for children.
Yes.
That a little bit.
Yes. After we being in the ministry for 30 years of church planting, pioneering, and preaching the gospel and concretely establishing church ministry, in this year 2020, we got a connection to build a school building, which would be really a great connector for the ministry in that village called Tolkata. Tolkata. We have been ministering there since 1989. Amazing journey. We have around 40 families accepted the Lord. And this school building which we have built is a center for 9 villages in 3 miles radius. 3 miles radius, there are 9 villages surrounding Tolkata village. And we look forward to for this school to be a good connecting point, to build relationship with the student, with the teacher, with the parents, not only giving them education, but also educating their minds also slowly down the road by sharing the love of Christ. So we see that as a great opportunity to bring in transformation. Bring in transformation in the village, and also transformation to bring in a socio-economic and also a transformation of culture in the village, because of the school we can have connect with all the other caste people in the village. India is a big country with casteism. Caste system in India has really separated all the people to come together and eat together. So we hope the school will be a connecting bridge for us to connect with all kinds of castes in the villages, so that we can have connectivity, and we look forward to see what God can do through the connectivity.
That's awesome. So has the school already started, or you're about to start it, or what's the timeline on that?
We hope to start the full-fledged school by January because we are still waiting for the guidelines from the government. With all the COVID rules and regulations, we are under the Disaster Management Act right now. But we want to start the after-school program next week. So things are getting lined up in the village. Friday, tomorrow, there is going to be an announcement because people are already waiting and expecting for us to start something for the children.
That's
And I
awesome.
can't let that down. And there will be announcement Sunday, this Sunday. Then next week, we are going to launch the after-school program for kids.
Wow, that's awesome. So what, I know you've been having some flooding, of course, dealing with COVID. What's kind of your biggest need right now?
In regards to our personal need, because of the flooding, the hall which I'm sitting, we had 2 feet water. You see the map there? This edge had the water till here. Most of the stuff got drowned and everything. Our biggest need for our family is a motorbike now. Motorbike to go to this village. Because I can't use my car. It's going to be expensive for me to travel every weekly twice to the village. And because our moped is going to go down. We have a scooter that's going to go down. So it's going to cost around probably $1,500 to $1,800, but something for a down payment of probably a $700 would help us just to get an EMI on the motorbike. That's with our personal need. And because it is Christmas season, we got 6 churches in the villages, 6 branches. So we have to give gift to children. So in church, all these 6 churches, we have around 350 kids. And every year I give around 600 gifts to non-Christians.
Wow.
So roughly we reach 1,000 kids in the Christmas time because this is the only occasion where nobody will oppose us. India is under a lot of opposition for the gospel. But Christmas is the time nobody opposes us. So I try to make use of this opportunity, and by faith, I believe God is going to provide for at least 1,000 kids. And what we expect is probably 60 cents per kid. 60 cents per kid or something like that. Roughly around $700 will help us buy gifts for 1,000 children. Just something, not big thing, but a token of appreciation and the love of Christ. So that are the 2 important needs what we have. Personal is we need a motorbike because I know I had to use my car to go just 5 miles for the meeting because I don't have a motorbike. My moped, I got it fixed, scooter, but it's not going to run long. It's going to put me in trouble. It might break down. I've been using it for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's the biggest need that I see, Mr. Chad, this evening. To reach out to kids and reach out to other pastors which I'm connecting with.
Wow. Well, hopefully one of these days I'll be able to make it over and see you and see the work that you're doing. I'm so thankful for what you're doing and your wife and just reaching the community. You guys are doing a great job. And I wanted to interview you so that other people could hear about what you're doing and find out more information. And I think it's great, the school that you're working on, and just you're a busy man, Stanley.
Yeah. It's so amazing, Mr. Chad. If you have time, I want to tell you one thing in 1 minute, if it is possible.
Please do. Yeah.
When I joined Christ for the Nations, I somehow got into your father's cabin, Randy Boza's cabin. I was looking for whom should I share with. And I came to know that that department was responsible for my scholarship. So I got to talk to him once in his office. He got an appointment. And I told him my desire to study in a mission school brought me to Christ for the Nations, not Christ for the Nations. And he was shocked. He looked into my eyes like that. And that day onwards, I was on his checklist. He was checking me. Anywhere he would see me, he would just check me like that. And he would always see me in action. So there was a alumni conference, and my director, Indian director, who recommended me to Christ for the Nations, he came to Christ for the Nations for the conference, and he talked to your dad. So later on, Mr. John Samuel, Dr. John Samuel, he's a doctorate from Oral Roberts, but ministering in India. Then after he met your dad, and later on afternoon, he came to me and I asked him, how did it go? He said, it went well, good. Randy asked me one question. He said, my director. He asked, your father asked my director that, will Stanley go back to India? And my director said, it seems I definitely see Stanley going back to India because he has a lot of ministry. His parents are involved in a big ministry which has a vision. So he is definitely going to go back to India. My director said to John Samuel, said to Randy Boza, your dad. And your dad said, yeah, because we are planning so much ministry for India, and that's what we are looking at. So that's why I asked you the question, your dad said. That only your dad knew, my director knew, and I knew. It was in 2001. A couple of years back, my director died, and I expected something will happen out of Christ for the Nations and all, though we are still connected. I came the second time. Your mom was there, and later on, I didn't share this to anybody. And later on, even your dad went to be with the Lord. And I thought, what your dad and my director talked, it went into cemetery. I thought it is buried completely. No one knew this. But after 20 years, we both are getting connected. We both are getting connected, which is just the work of God that I would say. Because I never told you this before.
No.
I never told you this. And no one knew this. No one knew this. Only my director told me what was in your dad's heart. And both of them went to the grave. So I thought, this vision is gone to the grave, I thought.
Wow.
And there is no way I can tell, but miraculously, God opened door for us to get connected. And I really see that God has a big plan, big vision, and what He thinks it will come to pass. And I just believe that this is just a beginning, Mr. Chad, and amazing, and lot of work to do in India. 1/6 of the world population don't know Jesus, and today, with the opposition and all that, so much is going on in India, and it's hard to minister in India. So that's what I wanted to let you know.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, Stanley. And I love how God works everything out and weaves everything together, and just these connections. And I just love to see it. So I'm so happy to reconnect with you after all these years. And who would have known back when we were working maintenance together at Christ for the Nations, I was following you around with some tools, and who would have thought that so many years later we'd be reconnected and talking about ministry. So it's good.
Thank you so much, Chad. Please pray for us and be part of the ministry that God has called us to do here. We would love to be your partners and pray for the school. We need to run the school. There are a lot of expenses coming up for the school long run. I don't know. I haven't raised any support for it, but I at least will cost around $600 to run the school every month with 4 teachers, so we can educate around 40 kids. So pray about it and come to India next year.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thank you for taking time to talk to me, and please give your lovely wife our love. And just we're so proud of what y'all are doing, and you are in our prayers. And I'm believing the support is going to come. So blessings on you, Stanley.
Thank you so much.